Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Cam from Epic Conversions, and it is Tuesday evening. We are going to be talking about, what's on my mind right now is this idea that, I think that maybe people are sick of AI. Are people sick of AI? That's the question. Am I caught in a echo chamber, or am I not the only one who's kind of tired of AI? That's my question. So I wanted to kind of talk to you about a few things that I saw that I found interesting, and I'd love to hear your take on it. Let me kind of figure out if this is working properly because it was acting kind of weird, and I'm not sure if it's actually working right. Seems like ever since they released the new studio thing, studio, what do you call that? Live recording studio. Ever since that came out, it's like I've had trouble for some reason. I don't know why. It's very strange, but and still it looks like it's a little bit off, like it's not working right. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up because I don't think this is working properly. Just double check. Just double check. Make sure I'm not hallucinating. Make sure I'm not hallucinating. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Looks like it is working. Okay. All right, cool. I think we're good. All right, cool. Uh all right. Let me man, I don't know what happened there. Okay. I do not know what happened there. But that was working. So, very cool. All right. Okay. Question: are people sick of AI? That's the question, right? By the way, I'm Cam from Epic Conversions, um, and I do these live streams on Substack about 4 or 5 times a week. Okay, so pretty regularly I'm doing them. And if you resonate with anything I say, or you enjoy these live streams that I do, just be sure to subscribe to my Substack, and you'll see them because I do them pretty regularly. So the question was, are people sick of AI? Now, my wife was telling me this interesting story the other day about the Pope telling his people to not use AI for sermons, and I thought that was so interesting. So I went looking for that, right? So I wrote some of this stuff down. I took some notes on this, and I wanted to kind of share it with you guys. So this is some stuff I wrote. So Pope Leo the 14th has instructed Catholic clergy to stop using AI tools like ChatGPT to write sermons, emphasizing that homilies must come from personal faith, prayer, and lived experience rather than technology. During a February 20th, 2026 dialogue with Rome's clergy reported by Vatican News, the Pope warned that relying on AI is a temptation and a demon of laziness that weakens spiritual depth. Um, so So, key takeaways regarding the directive: authenticity over automation. The Pope stressed that AI cannot replicate the genuine sharing of faith and personal conviction needed in preaching. Intellectual laziness. Pope Leo warned that failing to use one's own brain to prepare homilies is detrimental to a priest's ministry. Social media caution. The Pope also urged priests to avoid chasing likes or followers on platforms like TikTok, warning of the illusion of the internet. Context of AI. The instruction given in February 2026 highlights the Church's focus on preserving human dignity and genuine pastoral connection in the face of rapid technological advancements. All right. It's interesting. You can find more about that here over there on Vatican News. Um, but the whole thing is, it's kind of more of the same, right? It's like this stuff happened very, very rapidly. AI came on the scene very, very quickly, and within a few years, it's like changed the way a bunch of people are doing things. right? And here we have the Pope telling his clergy to stop using AI to prepare sermons. It's amazing. It's really just amazing, honestly, when you think about it. But I typed this in, right? Are people sick of AI? Are people sick of AI? That's our question for the night. Are people sick of AI? And what I got was AI overview. AI, imagine that. AI is telling me, yes, a significant number of people are growing tired, skeptical, and anxious about the rapid, forced integration of AI into daily life. Concerns over widespread job losses, data privacy, the decline of human authenticity, and the prevalence of inaccuracies, hallucinations, are fueling backlash against AI adoption, with many finding it more annoying than helpful. Key reasons for AI weariness. Forced adoption. Many consumers feel AI is being forced into products like Windows Copilot when they prefer human-driven alternatives. Job insecurity. A majority of people are concerned that AI will render their professions obsolete, including white-collar jobs in law and coding. Right? Those two alone, I think, are driving this backlash against AI. I think AI has absolutely been forced on people, and tons of people are worried about job security. Misinformation and data theft. Widespread concerns exist regarding data privacy, with 90% of some polled users worried about AI using their data without consent. Right? Loss of creativity. AI-generated content is seen by many as stealing from artists and degrading the value of human creative work. Inaccuracy. The tendency of generative AI to create hallucinations causes distrust. Public opinion and trends. Negative sentiment. A recent survey showed 46% of respondents hold negative feelings towards AI, significantly more than those with positive views. Well, it's weird though, right? Because it says 46% of respondents. Well, that means, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not the best mathematician in the world, but doesn't that mean that like 54%, hold positive feelings towards AI? I don't know. Am I not seeing that correctly? It says significantly more than those with positive views. I feel like I'm experiencing an AI hallucination right now, to be honest with you. Increased concern. As of early 2026, roughly half of Americans are more concerned than excited about the use of AI in daily life, compared to only 10% who are more excited than concerned. Workplace fear. Studies indicate 61% of employees are worried about ethical risks like bias, and over half fear AI will cause them to lose their jobs. Despite the backlash, industry adoption continues, with some companies finding success by focusing on specific non-critical tasks. However, the feeling of AI anxiety and fatigue is widespread, many users actively seeking ways to avoid or limit AI tools. Right there, that's very interesting. Many users actively seeking ways to avoid or limit AI tools. Okay, that's interesting. All right. So this is what Google AI Overview is telling us. A lot of people are feeling kind of sick of it. People really hate artificial intelligence, according to the latest. We could look on Reddit here. Let's see what they have to say over here on Reddit here. Why not? One of my favorite websites, Reddit. People really hate artificial intelligence, according to the latest NBC poll. 46% of respondents say that they hold negative feelings towards the concept of AI. Only 26% report positive connotations, while 27% were neutral. Okay, so I think we figured out where that 54% came, So a lot of people are saying they hold negative feelings. Okay, so that's interesting. And okay, so what are the comments saying about this? Most of the people pushing the AI utopia nonsense are people who will make money off it. I can guarantee you that if a game dev, for example, fires half its team, they're still going to sell you the product at $69.99. They're the only ones reaping the cost savings. And also that $70 product is going to be filled with bugs and problems. Yeah, that's true. But those short-term gains are going to be huge. A great part of modern American culture, short-term thinking. I won't have to deal with the consequences. Yeah, I don't know if that's just American thinking. I think that's the world over. I don't think that's specific to just America. I had lunch in a cafe last week that had a sign on the window. Short-term profits create long-term problems. All right. I don't know if that's always true, but, okay. Long-term problems. For the people not on the cigarettes and bacon retirement plan. Thinking exactly 1 quarter ahead has led to too many bad business decisions. These Ivy League graduates that have been the pipeline for CEOs in corporate America for the last few decades have been indoctrinated in this Milton Friedman type of thinking in business after neoliberal economics seemingly took over business economics schools and Ivy League universities since the late 70s and 80s. It's like 10% of those students, and they were already sociopaths to begin with. The institutions just enabled them. We need to reimagine a societal structure that doesn't reward such sociopathy. In my opinion, I think AI is pretty much a sociopath. I think if you think about AI, I mean, it kind of acts like a sociopath. It emulates. It pretends. So, you look at the definition of a sociopath, and you're gonna see the AI behaves exactly like that. You know what the problem is? We used to make shit in this country. Build shit. Now all we do is put our hand in the next guy's pocket. Well, it's too hard and boring doing business the honest way. Let's make an elaborate scheme to con people. It really is the defining point of our culture, isn't it? Every aspect of our lives are held prisoner by short-term gains at the cost of everything else. There's no hope in sight. Yeah, AI is kind of the ultimate enshittification scheme. It allows deeply incompetent people to basically scam by selling you a product that looks somewhat okay up front and melts like cardboard in the rain when you start seriously using it. It's basically free money if you're incredibly unethical. The fun part is the $70 games are already filled with bugs and problems on launch, so it'll be even worse. Higher productivity used to lead to higher wages, but the correlation broke in the 70s. Since then, wage growth has not kept up. Nowadays, all excess value is hoarded by the capital class. Okay. Well, I don't know if all these responses are about AI, but the sentiment definitely feels negative around here. I'm just kind of looking for things that are generally responsive to AI here. My dad is in this camp. He watches videos that only glaze AI and show some niche lab setting application, and he thinks it's going to make the world better for the everyman. He also doesn't grasp that increasing the amount of work an employee can do just means the company hires fewer workers. But alas. All right. Very interesting. This is my mother-in-law. Although she isn't into AI optimism, she absolutely can't seem to understand that despite the fact I have a white-collar job with a good company, or one she recognizes the name of, she can't understand why I have no pension, why my workload is more than 40 hours a week, why I travel so much for my job and sometimes miss family holidays, why I frequently work nights and weekends. She expects my job to be what hers was in the 1950s. Yes, there will be less people doing a job, but that also frees labor for other things. View it like mechanization of farming. Yes, less people do farming, but it was a net benefit as that allowed others to go into fields. Automation frees people from the need to do repetitive tasks that are ultimately low value. We used to have armies of office workers doing paperwork. We have a fraction now due to technology. I am on the fence as a person in IT. I can see the benefits it could potentially provide. However, the things people claim it can do is widely disproportionate to what is possible at the moment to do. You realize that cycle can only repeat a few times before 80% of people have no marketable skill set, right? Right, that's exactly what I was thinking when he said that. That's exactly what I was thinking. That cycle. And this person says, this person responds back and he says, yeah, but the real world isn't a static environment. People learn new skills, new jobs appear, and there are people who shift entire careers. You lost your job because of automation. Does that mean you are simply incapable of learning any other job? No. People can learn and adapt. This is what has always happened and will happen again. What I think this guy is missing, the point that's being made here, is that it appears that AI and automation, AI is coming for all the jobs, not just like some fields. It's coming for all the jobs. Like, you start to ask yourself, what are the jobs the AI is not doing, right? Now, I personally believe that there are things that humans are just better qualified to do than AI. But it doesn't mean that companies are not going to try to replace them with AI if they can. I mean, you see right now, AI is not perfect by any means whatsoever, and you see it being forced down everybody's throat already. So it's very interesting. This person responds back, you're wildly optimistic about how this country treats people and how capital flows can lead entire regions destitute and eventually drain, as well-meaning progressives have to roll out expensive welfare programs to try to ease the suffering during each big paradigm shift. Is office work really better now that we don't have those extra office workers? As someone built in IT, depending on your role, you now get to do scheduling, billing, dealing with invoicing, dealing with vendors, purchase orders, etc., and less time to do it, IT work, and building technical skills. Existing automation means I get to be responsible for a ton more users, devices, systems, and the stress that brings, while also doing duties that used to be done by dedicated administrative workers that got fired. Not freed up to do better work. I don't see AI improving quality of life at work, only making this worse. I agree with that, and you can find lots of proof to back that up. I argue yes. I think office work is better in almost all aspects in regards to worker output. A single office worker today with Excel is probably dozens of times more efficient than one from 100 years ago, where there were armies of people doing calculations. So this is an AI optimist here talking about, this is the counterpoint, right? This is the counterpoint. There's a single centralized computer system, SynPuter system, where there were hundreds of mails. There is email. The nature of the work simply changes. The mail room is no longer a giant room for tons of mails, but one where it serves the office workers for some work-related documents and convenient spot to post and receive personal mail. I also think automation has pretty much universally improved work. I would never onboard people manually if there is an automated process. Automations, if set up correctly, is pretty much 99% accurate, and you only have to handle niche cases, which is good, because humans fail way more than that. Also, why are you doing billing, PO, and scheduling? That's HR and accounting's job. Unless you work at a small company, you don't even get to make these decisions. By the time you do, you are closer to middle or upper management. As for the people who automation replaced, that's the reality of having a skill set that isn't needed. Oh man, that's the reality of having a skill set that isn't needed. How very pragmatic of you. It would be foolish to stop any kind of automation or improvement because people are going to lose their jobs. If we held on to that idea, we would also still be harvesting food with a sickle. Huh? That doesn't seem a logical statement. If increasing the amount of work a worker can do is bad because fewer are hired, not a given, by the way, then wouldn't it be logically good if people could do less since you'd have to hire more? So the less people do, the more society has? Like, that's very obviously not true. Certainly, I don't think you believe that developing countries must be better off economically because technology didn't steal their manual labor jobs. Yeah, I don't think technology is stealing manual labor jobs. I think the technology is coming to steal all the jobs. That's what I believe. I think that it's working on white collar stuff now. It's working on white collar stuff now, but as robotics improves, it's gonna be more and more working on the blue collar stuff as well. So Now, is it possible that like new jobs could be created that we don't understand yet? Yeah, I mean it's possible. I'm sure some new jobs will be created that we don't understand yet. Absolutely, kind of like the great horse manure, crisis of 100 years ago when they thought all the horses, all the horse manure was gonna like flood the cities. And they had no answer for any of it. It was a great crisis. They're like, man, in 20 years, all the cities are gonna be, under piles of manure. There's nothing we can do. They couldn't get rid of it, but they couldn't foresee the coming of the automobile, right? So and there's probably some things we cannot foresee the coming of also. But I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist to connect the dots that it looks like AI is, kind of revolutionizing not just one field. It's revolutionizing all the fields. I mean, think about it. Think about like the school teacher, for example. Let's say you need 50 teachers to run an elementary school right now. I mean, are you telling me you cannot see a future where they cut that down to 20 teachers or 15 teachers because they can have AI do the majority of the heavy lifting of the teaching? I think we can all see that as a possibility. Probably even today that could be happening. That could even be happening today. I don't even think we have to go 1 or 2 years in the future to see, teacher employment, being cut down because they don't need teachers for level 1, for tier 1 teaching anymore. And then also on the opposite end of that, I see a future where, there's going to be schools, that champion a benefit of having human teachers, all human teachers. I see that coming as like a counter, right? Because for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So you're going to see that, right? In the near future, I would imagine. But yeah, you think teaching, I see it, right? I see it in teaching, right? I see it in accounting, right? Of course, in accounting. You're already seeing fields like copywriting get hit really, really hard. You're already seeing some other fields get hit really, really hard with AI. Engineering, software devs, like level 1, like low level, like junior level software developers, you're seeing get obliterated by AI right now. And it's not like it's just one field. It's like all the fields, okay? It's all the fields. Probably what people are starting to look at right now is the trades. Right now, I think people are starting to eye the trades, like plumbing, electricity, roofing, just general contracting, home repair, stuff like that, the trades, right? I think there's going to be a resurgence of the trades because it feels safer. It feels safer from what's happening with AI. But honestly, it looks like it's coming for all the jobs, within the next 10 years. So there's probably going to be new jobs created, but still, I mean, I don't know. Like, it seems hard for me to imagine. People keep on trying to relate this to things that have happened before, like the industrial age. Well, this hasn't happened before. I get sick of hearing that comparison. It's not a fair comparison. It's not an apt comparison. It doesn't make any sense because this is affecting multiple industries, not just one industry at a time. It's affecting a bunch of industries. And, it's hard to absorb all those job losses when it's affecting all the industries. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I think sometimes the people saying that, oh, this has happened before, this is just like the past. I think sometimes the people saying that, I wonder if they're putting me on when they say that. Like, do they really believe that? I mean, because I don't think that you have to be like some kind of mathematician to see that doesn't add up. Like, let's say you got 10 industries in total. Let's simplify this massively. You got 10 industries in total. And like AI is like got its hands in like 8 of 10 of them. Okay? 8 of 10 of them it's got its hands in, and they're saying, at least in 50% of these industries, AI is going to be, taking 70% of the work within the next 5 years. Okay, well, that's half the industries. So where do all those people go? They all kind of fit into the other 5 industries? It doesn't make any sense, man. Like, the math doesn't add up. Now, I am, keeping an open mind about, like, job opportunities and other opportunities to open up that we don't know about yet. That's very real possibility. But I'm just trying to understand, how the opportunities like that would open up in so many industries, because this is something that's affecting a lot of different industries, not just one industry. So it's kind of funny to hear people who are so opportunistic about it. So, anyways, we see there's a lot of negative sentiment here on Reddit about this, but there's also some optimists. It's already starting to, and it's going to get a lot worse. I worked with Apple support for 8 years. This was written 8 days ago. I worked with Apple support for 8 years. Talked to my old manager there recently, and she told me she doesn't think they'll be filling open positions within 2 years. It'll all just transition to AI support. Those are some of the best paying jobs in the CS industry, customer support industry. All remote, except for the ones they outsource to third-party call centers, but most of the support has traditionally been in-house. It's what led to Apple having some of the best customer service around for such a long time. But even they are going that route, it would seem. My old manager was also really tied up with the engineering teams at headquarters. She had an engineering degree herself. It just wasn't worth the difference in pay to uproot her family to Cupertino. So I believe her when she says that's the plan wholeheartedly. Klarna tried it, and they had to rehire their CS. The new hiring cycles are just going to accommodate for what AI messes up until they can get it to not mess up, then fire people again, and the cycle continues until every little error has been accounted for. And that's true. That's true, because what they're doing now is, like, I see them doing this thing now where, this has just happened to Amazon, where, Amazon's AI messed up really bad, but, like, part of their mandate in Amazon's engineering department is they have to use AI for 80% of the problems. Like, so they have to use AI for 80% of the problems, or they have to account for why they're not using AI, right? So there's a mandate to use AI for all this stuff. And the reason why they're doing it, in my opinion, is because they want their engineers to train the AI so that they can eventually just replace the engineers. They want the engineers to train up their replacements, basically. That's basically what's happening. Right, my husband works in tech and is required to use, that's exactly what I'm talking about, required to use their AI products as well as report on what is not working so they can continually improve. I've asked him if the employees realize that they are just training themselves out of a job. He said, we have no choice. It's part of our metrics to use these tools, and if we don't, we risk being fired anyway. Amazing. Amazing how that's happening. I don't think people have a choice. The news cycles and markets are delusional. According to the reports, we have been in a recession for a while now. All these companies are trying to save on costs because they see very little revenue, even outside of AI. Everything is slowing down. So it is what it is, right? So to me, when I read through stuff like this, I see a lot of negative sentiment when it comes to AI. Blizzard Entertainment has famously good customer support. You could talk to them in games rapidly, call them up. They would always try to help and treat you like a valued customer. This was pre-2010. Now, 90% of it is ChatGPT that tells you whatever is wrong, won't be fixed, and to go away. You might be able to escalate to a human after numerous tries, or they might just ban your account for harassing the robots. The future. Lego has always had great customer service in my experiences with them, and I had to call them last week. They had a message at the beginning that the call would be recorded for AI training purposes. Yeah, that's amazing. Man, that sucks to hear. Lego is one of the good ones. They paid their people really well, do it all in-house, encourage their reps to truly delight and engage with their customers. That is devastating. I worked for Apple and Lego. We're like the one company I could name that did it better than us. He said he worked for Apple, and Lego was like the one company he could name that did it better than them. I would have tipped off the CS agent and then thrown in a bunch of gibberish. So glad we deindustrialized our country for a few pedophile billionaires. That's crazy. On the plus side, now the whole world knows we can't build weapons anymore, so we can use our AIs to start speaking Chinese pretty soon. But it's going to make your job so much easier. At best, it will make some tasks easier. Then I'm going to be expected to do 10x more because I can be more productive. Even the best pitch is a false bill of goods. Well, it is this is so short-sighted. When all these companies stop hiring people and millions of people are out of a job, who do they think is going to buy their products? Billionaires aren't going to be buying millions of iPhones or laptops for their personal use. Dumb. It's almost like the people making these decisions are morons who can't see past their next bonus. Personally, I don't believe in any of this shit. I think the real way AI is going to eliminate jobs is by turning out to be useless solutionism. That was vastly overhyped and massive waste of capital. Once that is truly reckoned, it is going to rock the economy and we'll enter a recession and companies will start laying people off just to stay afloat like they did back in 2008. That seems more likely to me than AI being capable of replacing a person without costing them more than a person does. I don't know. For customer service, it actually kind of makes sense. At the end of the day, most tech support is just providing people information they could easily look up themselves. An LLM can do that a lot cheaper than a human, especially if you're a huge company like Apple that already has the data centers to power the models yourselves. So, sure, there's an error rate, but human advisors give Apple customers the wrong information all the time. Error rate is probably about the same. When the bubble eventually bursts, these companies will all have laid off so many humans along the way, there won't be anyone left to fire. The companies themselves will collapse. We have already been seeing mass layoffs across the tech industry since like 2023. Yeah, so you guys have to tell me what you think about that. I mean, my opinion on that is it looks pretty negative sentiment. Okay, so if we come over here to Google Trends, let's see what they say. Let's see what people are saying. I hate AI. I just want to see, is anyone typing this in a search engine? Okay, not past 24 hours. Let's go past 5 years. Wow, looky. I hate AI. Seems to be more popular than it's ever been. And what are the rising related queries? I hate AI art, AI generated, AI chat. I hate reading AI. I hate reading. I hate AI art. I hate Google. I hate people. Okay. We gotta compare it, right? I love AI. Oh no! Look at that. Even more people saying they love AI. Let's make sure we make this exactly the same. All right. I love AI. So what are the rising queries for I love AI? TikTok, ChatGPT AI. These are related queries. I don't know. AI love you. AI I love you. What is AI? I love song AI. Okay. I don't see anybody. This is interesting. Okay, so I do see some search queries that are a little bit more targeted with the I hate AI than with the I love AI. You know, it's hard to know. It's hard to know what people really think, you know. What about unplugged? Actually, going unplugging. Let's get rid of these love and hate terms. Okay. So here we are people talking about unplugging. We see that's pretty popular right now, kind of going up in popularity for search terms. Luddite. We see Luddite. Kind of like a gradual climb with this Luddite term. kind of a gradual. We got 40 here 5 years ago, and it's kind of like going up a little bit. I don't think I don't think people are interested in getting rid of all technology. Why so much AI? Yeah. Boom. Yeah. That's sentiment for you there. Why do people hate AI? Okay. All right. So, why does AI use so much water? Why does AI use water? That's interesting. People, my aunt was just asking me this the other day, why AI uses so much water. How does AI work? Ask AI. A lot of people are wondering about the water. They want to know why AI is raising their water bill, which it is. Um, why do people hate AI? Why do people hate AI art? A lot of this is, why do people hate AI art? Why do people hate AI art? People hate AI art primarily due to ethical concerns regarding the use of artists' work to train models without consent. Why do people hate AI? Why do people hate AI so much? Why do people hate AI on Reddit? Why do people hate AI music? Why do people hate AI art so much? AI pack. I don't know what that is. AI pack. I'm not sure what that is. Why do people hate AI videos? Why do people hate Airbnb? Okay, why do people hate AI so much? This is 3 months ago on Reddit, artificial intelligence. This is the artificial intelligence subreddit. Why do people hate AI so much? I don't love using it for everything, but if I need an email to be concise and I give it all the information, what's the harm? In general, it's not a good source, and I don't use it to aggregate data, but I will use it to simplify everyday tasks for me. When I get served up AI from someone, I feel like I received the minimum amount of effort they've felt they could get away with, and that feels insulting. Exactly. It dehumanizes the conversation. I don't want to talk to a robot. I want to talk to the person. Doing performance reviews with AI is a joke, so unpersonable and shows people don't care about employees. I had to mull this one over for a bit. I used GPT to help write creative prose for my people. I rationalized it then by the fact that all of us understood and accepted the fact that the appraisal system was asinine and broken beyond repair. The union ensured that every rating was grievable, that no rating could ever come down without massive and never satisfactory amounts of justification, and on a scale of 1 to 5, a 5 was just getting the job done. There was no room for above and beyond. Leadership, on the other hand, and I use that term loosely, demanded a bunch of stock statements and appraisals. Each was the result of some arbitration or TIGTA audit finding. I'm not too familiar with this TIGTA term. Let's just look this up really quick. TIGTA, Treasury Inspector General. Okay, got it. And as all of the senior technicians' evals that I did were proofread by administrative assistants, universally non-technical, even every project, every activity had to have excruciating detail so that they, and I'm sure the senior execs, could understand. Oh, and did I mention a word count limit? Finally, I ascribe to a different style of leadership. I don't rely on a broken-ass evaluation system exercised with administrative inertia twice a year to communicate with my people on their work. I'm on the floor with them, and they routinely get involved in every aspect of our work. The written appraisals were universally considered to be the joke they were. Okay. It's off topic, but I must say, reading your reply was for me an English exercise of determining whether I see a typo or some advanced grammar or slang. Okay. I generally use it to proofread my emails and make it flow easier for the reader. This includes suggesting corrections to grammar, phrases. Also, I use it when I'm stuck For example, when I've forgotten specific phrase or wording. In those situations, I normally prompt it to complete this sentence just to give my brain a jolt, then carry on. So what we're getting kind of two sides of the same coin, right? Now we're getting into the a lot more of the people who are pro AI, right? They're the more of the optimists. Are you telling me using it to write my wedding vows would possibly be offensive? Genius. Sad. And I think it's a joke referencing a post recently about someone who did just that and their wife to be left them at the altar. Whether or not it's true is another story, but it's entertaining nonetheless. Sometimes it takes me more time to make a paragraph using AI than not using it. I tried to write a book with it, and it would take me hours for a paragraph or two, constant editing and going back and forth. I can have a conversation with it for an hour and then say, summarize all we talked about into a paragraph. It depends on how you use it, and I'm sure more people use it out of laziness, but you can make your life hell with it too. 100% agree. For the things I would actually like AI to do for me, it winds up being more work than it's worth. There's a lot of talk about how AI is going to take over all the jobs in the world, but when I try to deploy it for things I would like to offload, it frequently falls well short of my expectations. I just want to say, I see a lot of people talking about how AI is going to take over all the jobs in the world. I just kind of wonder if people realize a lot of this stuff is already happening. There's a lot of jobs that used to take like 20 people to do. Now it's down to like 8 people, right? So there's already a lot of this going on, especially in white collar employment. It's just kind of going on in a way they're trying to keep it under wraps as best they can. They're keeping it, they can hide it with percentages. Like if you say, "Oh yeah, we're 100% employed," what are you talking about? AI destroying jobs? We're still at 100% employment, right? But like what they don't tell you is that like they're actually eliminating jobs. So like of course they're at 100% employment because being 100% employment used to be having 20 employees, and now being 100% employment is having 10 employees. So yeah, they're still at 100% employment, no problem. And like simple little tactics like that, they're able to hide the attrition. They're able to hide the layoffs and the let goes and stuff as best they can. You still see it cropping up. If you look for it, you find it. So far, AI just seems to be best at doing things you don't want to offload to it, while being below expectations at things you want to offload. I used to play World of Warcraft, and there were add-ons that would automatically congratulate people when they leveled up or accomplished something. And I absolutely loathed them. It felt like I had to exert more effort to thank them for the auto message than they didn't even type. The intention of the add-on was to show appreciation, but in practice it just felt like I had to do more work in responding. I can see the usefulness for businesses to non-humanly provide information, but AI for human interactions is lame. I think that's fair. When you say get served up AI, I assume you mean something that's entirely AI generated and not just when someone uses AI to help them refine something. If so, I can totally see that, but AI can also be a part of a larger, more involved process. When a vendor sends me an analysis that includes the sentence structure, it's not just X, it's Y. I think they're being disrespectful. That's been true for years before LLM. As a team lead, I'd get reports, proposals, and narratives that were obviously cut and pasted from another source. The funny part to me is that the longer you work with an LLM, the more it will try to parrot your style and tone back at you. That's the sweet spot. When you can go on a verbal rant or just type a list of ideas and key points and the damn thing spits out the kind of prose that you used to make time to create. Yeah, I mean, so we see it on both sides. Yeah, that is very interesting. So let me go back here. Let me stop sharing my screen. Yeah, so there you have it. Are people sick of AI? Why do people hate AI so much? Are people sick of AI? I think some people are sick of AI, and I think other people, they love it, and they won't stop loving it. And I think that is the future we're moving into, a polarizing future where half the people hate something and half the people love something. I will say, I think that the more people who get displaced in their jobs, the more people whose livelihoods get affected by artificial intelligence, the more people are going to hate AI. That's what I think. And we'll just have to see how it goes. Leave me a comment. Drop me a like if you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. I'm Cam from Epic Conversions. Subscribe to me here on Substack, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace now.